Gang, you are very welcome back. This is Iron Ian of the Iron Mindset podcast and Master of Ceremonies for the ABS series. We are closing in on ABS series 15. And I have one of our male pro-am elite athletes here on the line, giving up some of his time today, Mr. Rob Flett. Rob, it's great to have you on.
Fantastic to be on. Appreciate the time, Iron Ian, and looking forward to getting cracking and wrapping up the end of this meet prep and getting to this comp.
You had a really, really impressive showing last time you were actually over with us at the AB series for Clash of Titans. But yeah. I'm sure many people will have probably seen your efforts there or seen some of the footage of you with the bleeding forehead. But sure, for maybe those uninitiated who don't know what Rob Flett is all about, please tell us a bit more about yourself.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I got introduced to powerlifting in 2019. I was actually up at the Body Power Fit Expo here, just kind of checking out the event and messing around up there for the day. And I mean, I've been kind of aware of the sport or been following it for a good period of time. Kind of that era of kind of around 2013, where Dan Green stuff was big, and the Lily Bridges and Stan Efferding, and kind of those lifters that have maybe times have moved on a little bit from now. But the golden era of powerlifting with those guys. And I ran into Mark Bell up there, who was just kind of selling his products and heading on down to Paris before heading back out to California. Ended up meeting him, and he ended up bringing me out there, and that was kind of my introduction to powerlifting. Was the Record Breakers meet in California. So that was kind of my introduction to the sport. And then sort of coming home from there, I was kind of looking at, right, this is something I love doing. Who could maybe help, take me up another level? Because maybe I don't know quite enough to really just have a run at this thing myself for the time being. So I was kind of having a look online, and I ran into Del McQueen, and kind of saw his, like amazing deadlifts, and just noticed that he's somebody that was obviously super high level, and just he's going to know what he's talking about. So I just introduced myself to him. He was I remember him. He was leaving the special bars cupboard in our gym, and I just kind of went up to him. I said, "My name's Rob Flett. I've seen you lifting and stuff. I was interested to come meet you." And within he was kind of coaching me from there on. So that was 2019, and man, since then I've just kind of been competing a couple of times a year, and I guess the Clash has kind of been my highlight, or that was like quite a big deal for me to have a shot to be invited there. With that kind of caliber of lifters, and I guess the hype that's around the ABS platform and continuing to grow, which is kind of credit to fucking yourself, Jay, and just everything that you guys are doing across there. All of a sudden, I think a lot of us gone from, right, this is our life's passion, and we're maxing out at the back of a gym hall, to right, all of a sudden we got media, we've got entertainment, we've got we're well looked after when we come across there. It's very like supportive as soon as you get there, in terms of having goodie bags thrown at you, or the warm up, like a lot of help in the warm up room. So if I'm honest, I'm like going the way things are, like the ABS platform for me, if I want to stay in the sport a decade, I just keep getting a little bit better each time. I think I could do something really special on the ABS platform.
Absolutely agreed, and thank you very much. It gives people a good grasp on where you've come from to now, and even in those couple of short years since 2019, you've made a pretty big impact. You've got to put up some pretty impressive numbers, and I know you turned a lot of heads when you were with us at a Clash of Titans last April. People were definitely took notice. Would it be fair to say then would you call that your greatest achievement in powerlifting so far, that meet, or was there anything else that kind of is a highlight for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd say for me, it would be just obviously having the chance to. I mean, I got a 900 total, which was the buy-in to lift on that flight. So for me, that was that was huge to be there. I put up my first 2,000-pound total there, which was cool because when I got into the sport, it was that was kind of the standard that all the big dogs were hitting. Obviously, times have changed now, and the standard it's continuing to rise. Just been watching the American Pro this last weekend, and the Abs Pro, and it just seems like every couple of months the standard's moving. So you got to make sure you're progressing as well, otherwise you're going to get left behind. And obviously the sport's exposed now to a much wider pool of athletes. So you're starting to see, the outliers cropping up kind of more and more. And it's just cool to see. Like, I don't think that the pro, like Boris's, 400 at 104, I don't think anyone saw that coming. It was completely out of left field. So yeah, man, like I'm just excited to keep on progressing, keep on getting better. Obviously, everyone's genetics are kind of different. But I think I've got the right frame for it. Like I'm taller, I'm pretty heavy and like well set. I got a big frame on me. And yeah, man, just looking forward to keep progressing.
Brilliant, man. And like that, like you're dead right. The standard raises all the time. Even when we look from an ab series event to the next, we see massive improvements, and the caliber of lifter just gets better. Even returning athletes get better and better. So from your last competition with us in April, coming up now to Abs 15 in November, do you have particular goals, or what can the audience expect to see from Rob Flett now in the past for all these weeks and months of building?
Yeah, sure. So if I talk about maybe my meet prep a little bit, so it's been a much smoother prep, kind of, especially starting out here, kind of coming in as opposed to Clash. For Clash, I just couldn't get things moving the way that I wanted to. Whereas with this, I kind of I've hit with momentum from the start. Personal best in kind of the peak in lifts, just moving on throughout the weeks. I unfortunately picked up a niggle or a strain in my lower back on my last heavy. This was actually on Monday. I was gonna take a big squat, and yeah, just as I was coming out the hole, got about 75% of the way up, and I just heard kind of like a snap or a pop or a crack in kind of at the base of my spine, and sort of a big release of pressure. I been to A&E, and the doctor thinks it's a torn ligament in the base of my spine. However, I don't think it's bad enough for me not to come across and compete and lift. I've just had a call with Tristan last night, and he's literally been class. And we're going to do a live session on Monday night where I'm going to warm up and squat, and he's going to be kind of monitoring me as I go. Giving me exercises to do. Just kind of helping me out for these last couple of weeks leading in. So I'm just, in my mind, I'm not gonna like see it as an issue. I think I can come to the platform and lift big. And that's fully what I intend on doing.
Excellent. And I will say that as well. Shout out to Tristan Jacobs, who is a phenomenal pain therapist in his own right, and is actually incidentally lifting at Ab Series 15 in Division 1. So you'll be crossing paths at some stage. Yeah, he's all set to try and qualify for the Pro-Am. But speaking of Ab Series 15, and speaking of the ever-rising standards, and again, despite the low back issue, I imagine we're still going to see some amazing performance from yourself, Rob. But looking at your competition and the other lads in your flight, is there anyone in particular you're looking forward to competing against, or is there anyone you really want to beat? Is there one name that sticks out, or is there a couple of guys you're hoping to give them a good run for their money?
Yeah, man, the West Country farmer boy, Tommy Bebb. I'll be giving him a good rinse in on the platform. Send him back to the farm and collecting milk from the cattle. That's where he belongs, man. Not on a powerlifting platform. So yeah, Beb will be getting a good hiding. It'd be cool to. I mean, Mason's training looks like it's going really well. Big lifter, very consistent lifter, and you can tell, he loves the sport. And he's a great guy to be around. So I'm looking forward to spending some time, out there with him. But you know what? Powerlifting, it's big weights, and anything can happen on the day. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get things which are unexpected. If you look at a lot of these big meets, quite typically you might get 2 or 3 big names not show up, and then a couple really show up big. So that those weights, kind of anything's possible. It's just about literally getting to the meet, and then in a position where you can max out, and then kind of just see what you can take for the day. But yeah, I know the Icelandic guy's a big lifter. I think he's got a big pull on him. Quite a few of the lighter guys I'm not overly familiar with, but certainly Beb and Mason. It's going to be cool to go up against those guys again. And yeah, man.
Yeah, it is. It's one of these things where this lineup, I think, is unique in that sense because there's a lot of lifters that are on that cusp of being among the absolute elite that we've ever presented, but maybe don't have the same visibility of a Dave Richardson, a Luke Tolman, a Boris Chechkov. So this is actually going to be a great competition for people to make their names. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, Rob, I want to ask you, because you've got a decent amount of experience. You've competed in a couple of different places and you've seen a lot of powerlifting platforms.
Yeah.
What made you choose the abs series? What made you decide to come and compete with us?
I'll be completely honest with you. I think the production that you guys put on is unrivaled in terms of the support you've got there on the day. When I came to the clash, I didn't load or warm up a single plate going onto the bar. We're allocated monoliths. We're given them a media day and kit, the day prior. You guys are trying to help us out with food and kind of travel and just making life as easy as possible so that we can essentially put on the best performance that we can. And then you couple that with, the crowd, the hype, the lighting, the fire breathers. And you know me, I like to get intense. I like to get into it. And for me, I've got an extrovert personality, and that really brings out, I think, the best of me, So I love lifting on this platform. And me personally, I won't be going anywhere. As long as Jay Farrett will keep having me, I'll keep coming back.
Nah, man, we love to hear that. And that's what it's all about for us as well. It's not just about the experience of the people in the audience. We want to give them a great show. Obviously, we want to give them a visual spectacle and present powerlifting the way we think it should be presented. But also, we want to take care of our lifters, our athletes, because they're the ones essentially giving us the show. They're the ones taking the risks. They're the ones putting on the big performances. So anything we can do to facilitate the best efforts from our athletes is naturally in everyone's mutual interest. So thank you very much for the kind words. And you can rest assured, in 2024, that level is going to keep going up.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I believe that too. I think these next few years, I don't see it stopping or slowing down. One other thing I'd like to add to that, as credit to yourself and Alexander Clark, is that all of a sudden, from somebody watching a live stream with no fucking commentary, no clue what's going on, a silent live stream, no scoring in place, to you two who are knowledgeable about the sport, you can commentate properly, and all of a sudden it's watchable. Even if you're a neutral and you don't like powerlifting, you don't know what's going on, people are going to like to see big weights moved around,
Yeah, thank you for saying so. We work hard up there. We do our best. Alex is a legend. Big up Alexander Clark.
You're like you become a folk legend in my local gym and among my family. They like all of your sayings, and I think it's the Irish accent which kind of makes it a little bit fun to listen to. So,
do you know what? I'll say it's actually one of my favorite things about the Ab Series weekends is not only getting to present the ceremonial weigh-ins and the press conference, which is always just a bit of fun, but then commentating with Alex for the main event. And we will be, I definitely will be. I haven't found out exactly if Alex is joining me yet, but for Ab Series 15, I will be up in the broadcast booth commentating the Pro-Am flight. So I'm looking forward to seeing your efforts. And looking at that now is in a way we're going to present it, because I'm expecting huge things.
Yeah.
Excluding yourself, right?
Yeah.
Excluding yourself, but looking at the podium, who do you think is going to be in the top three?
Yeah. You know what? I think I mentioned him. I think Mason's on for a big day. I know he wants to continue to kind of meet that standard to be, pro clash kind of shoe in kind of these years going forward. So I think Mason's going to be up there. His training looks consistent. He lifts to a high standard. I think he's going to be up there. The Icelandic guy, I think it's Thomas Darry. I think he's going to be there or thereabouts. Is it Mike?
Mike Jones.
Yeah, Mike. I know he's got some solid dots, but having not lifted with these guys in person or maybe seen too much of them, I've kind of been honing in on you need that 940 total if you want to lift in the Clash next year. So that's kind of my number one priority. And also, I mean, if I was to if I was to do the pro next year at 520 Wilks, I think that's definitely in my wheelhouse as well. So they're kind of, yeah, I want to win, I want to beat everybody, but at the same time, I want to continue to have the chance at those, those real big events.
Amazing. So personal goals as well, outside of just having the best day possible. Qualify, keep coming back for the clash, get that invite to the pro. And I think that's probably the best way to approach these things. But that's it, man. Like you said already, it's anybody's meat to take, because abs is obviously a whole different breed of powerlifting. But the final question I have for you then, looking again back to the competition, let's just say your toughest competition at this meet is going to be the likes of Tommy Bebb or Mason Mills. Let's look at those two guys specifically. What do you think are their greatest strengths and their greatest weaknesses?
Yeah. Well, for Mason, his biggest strength is definitely his bench. I mean, that's the lift that he relies upon the most. And I'd have to say his biggest weakness would be maybe bearing great resemblance to a couple of the local ferrets around this area. So I'd say that for Mason. For Beb, his biggest strength is he's got a good bench on him. I know Beb. Well, he's quite well rounded. He's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe equally with him, his biggest weakness would have to be looking like Gregory Goyle from Harry Potter.
All right, so you're definitely coming not just to beat these guys on the platform, but I'm sure there's going to be some barbs thrown at the press conference as well.
There's going to be a few cowboys in this lineup, so I thought I'd join them as well.
Do you know what, Rob? We're very excited to have you back across, not only for your incredible lifting, but also your intense personality and your charisma. We're looking forward to getting a microphone in your hand. Last thing I'll ask, do you have any closing statements either to your fellow competitors or to the audience that are going to get to see you lift in November?
Yeah. Full steam ahead for November the 18th, Iron Ian. I'll see you in Dublin.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Rob. Folks, that is Rob Flett competing at the ABS Series 15, the Pro-Am flight. Details below. You can be there in person at ABS Powerlifting or watching live on the KiloCast. We will see you there.